loss is never easy. Down Louisiana way, they handled theirs a little different. First, of course, they mourn. But it's what comes next that separates them from most. It's that second line where the healing takes hold. Behind the procession, the second line leads a family and friends to celebration. And a reminder, even though you've experienced a loss, there's much more for you ahead. Welcome to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. It's a battle for the Golden Boot, Arkansas and LSU. And the 7th-ranked Tigers have an outside shot at the college football playoff. A New Year's Six bowl game could be in their future, but they need to finish perfect. And so the Tigers come on the road as one of the nation's best, despite not matching up with the nation's best last week against Alabama. LSU fell only to 7th, which means they still have a chance to get into the top 4 in the college football playoff. And if you're an LSU fan, you know what happened in 2007. Crazier things have indeed occurred. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. Cole Kubelik's down on the chilly field tonight. And if you are LSU, you're trying to find a way to get this offense going. They were shut out last week against one of the nation's best defenses. Yeah, you're trying to find a way to refocus and get rid of that emotional hangover. Now, this offense has struggled, but if you look back at the teams they played, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama, they've had tough sledding. I think this is a bounce-back game, a game they need to get the run established. They shore up the protection, give Joe Burrow some time to hit some plays downfield, get some confidence, and rebound. It's been a while since Joe Burrow threw a touchdown pass. They'd love to see the passing game come alive. It's been since the Ole Miss game when he threw 3 touchdowns and didn't throw a pick. But he does own 3 top 10 wins, and that is a metric that is going to be in LSU's favor down the stretch when the selection committee talks about their accomplishments this season. So the Tigers come in with an opportunity here to hit the reset button on their season, to finish strong and find a new lease on their football life under head coach Ed Orgeron. And what a finish it would be if they could do it. So on the other side, there's Arkansas, and their offense over the last 4 games has been absolutely magnificent. They're averaging nearly 30 points a game. Yeah, an offense that if you look back at the Alabama game, Arkansas really found some things. I think they found a way to get the running back the ball, the tight end involved. If they can replicate that, they got a chance to move the football. Let's hear what Coach Orgeron has to say. He's standing by with Cole.
Coach, your team came off a tough loss last week. Who did you rely on over the course of this week to have them ready?
You know, our guys like Nick Brissett, Devin White, Rashard Lawrence did a tremendous job of leading our football team. Greedy White, Grant Delvin, and our assistant coaches. We've had a great week of practice. What a great atmosphere. We're looking forward to tonight.
Obviously, a lot still left to play for. What was the message to your team over the course of the week in practice and in the locker room before the game?
Yeah, let it go, man. Hey, this is a big game for us. We can get exactly where we want to go, have a great season. Arkansas is the first step.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
All right, that's indeed the message from Coach Orgeron. Plenty to play for, and for Arkansas the same, because Rakeem Boyd and Cheyenne O'Grady have been on fire lately. Yeah, I mentioned Boyd and O'Grady just a second ago because we know how talented this LSU secondary is. There's not going to be many openings or windows for Ty Story to throw the football. The more they can get the running back and the tight end matched up on linebackers, the more success this offense is going to have moving the football. Sam Morrison, offensive mastermind, set numerous records while he was the OC at Clemson, then went on as a head coach at SMU and rebuilt that program. LSU won the toss. They've elected to defer, so Arkansas will receive. And no return for the Razorbacks. You mentioned Ty Story. He's an Arkansas native from Charleston, Arkansas, where he ran a very similar offense. He's already graduated, in fact, did that in May, kinesiology degree. Great athlete, all-state in both basketball and baseball out of Charleston High School for head coach Greg Kendrick. 58% on the season, 9 touchdowns and 7 picks. He's got Rakeem Boyd next to him in the backfield. And Boyd, first crack at it. Takes it across the right side before Glenn Logan finds him. It's a gain of 2. LSU a little banged up defensively. Braden Fehoko is not expected to play in this one. On that defensive line. And that'll be a big loss for them. They should also be without John Battle, who was injured the first play of the game against Alabama last week. So Ed Alexander moves into a starting role next to Rashard Lawrence. And we've got movement on the home team. Lee Hedrick is our referee tonight. Arkansas's offense over the last 4 games has averaged 413 yards and 29 points a game. Big reason for that, as you mentioned, has been the play of Rakeem Boyd. He's been over 100 yards 3 of those 4 games, 423 yards total. Design quarterback run. Ty Story carrying Devin White with him. He's able to pick up 5 yards.
And already we've seen Arkansas on the first play of the game come out in an unbalanced set, which means the tackle was on the opposite side, 2 tackles on one side of the formation. And then now we see him come out in a 3-by-1 with a nub tight end, a tight end attached to the line of scrimmage. Talking to Dave Aranda, the LSU defensive coordinator, he said there's 1 or 2 things, like a flavor of the week, that Arkansas likes to do, and they're back out in this 3-by-1 with a nub. They're going to start to figure out how they need to defend this and what Arkansas wants to do.
Chase Hayden is now in at running back on 3rd and 7. Story pressured, and he got dropped on the blitz. It's a loss of 8. Kerry Vincent Jr. came flying in and maybe even untouched, and for some reason Story never felt him.
And just never saw Vincent coming off the right side. Wanted to move the ball to the left. In a 5-man protection there as a quarterback, you got to find that 4th or 5th rusher, see where the pressure's coming from, and either get rid of it on a hot throw or slide to protection in that direction.
Matthew Phillips punting now instead of Reed Bauer. And we got flags before it occurred and movement likely against Arkansas again.
False start on the kicking team, number 8. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Michael Woods, the wide receiver. Jonathan Giles is back to receive for LSU. Standing on his own 45. Blake Johnson, is the punter for Arkansas. The junior gets away a short one. Went off of an Arkansas player, I believe. Arkansas thinks it went off LSU. It's a 38-yard punt, and the Tigers going to have great field position for quarterback Joe Burrow. Going against an Arkansas defense which has struggled. They've allowed scores on the opening drive for their opposition in 7 of their 9 games. Burrow hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since September 29th. Transferred in from Ohio State. His dad, Jimmy, is a defensive coordinator at Ohio University. They played midweek Maction. 2 brothers, both Cornhuskers. And Burrow's coming off of a tough game against Alabama, 18 of 35. Didn't throw a touchdown and threw a pick. He's got time here. And it is complete to Jamar Chase, who picks up an LSU first down. It must feel like almost like you're facing a lesser team. No disrespect to Arkansas, but just relative to the strength of the defenses that they've faced over the last month.
Yeah, it's been a tough month with the defenses that they face. That's why I love first play of the game. Steve Ensminger gets an easy hitch throw to the outside. Get Joe Burrow confident early in this game.
Want to throw again, and Burrow will spike it. I mean, he spent a lot of time throwing balls away against Alabama last week. There was just nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, when you review that film, the offensive line had a bad day. Let's just be honest. Had a bad day. There wasn't anywhere to go with the football. LSU tried to max protect, which means they were trying to keep 7 guys in protection, run 3 routes, and there just wasn't anything there for Joe Burrow. So they got a lot to figure out tonight. from a protection standpoint to give Joe Burrow some time that he hasn't had this past month.
Justin Jefferson in motion in the fly sweep. They give it to Brissett again. And it's a game of 3. A lot of energy in the building tonight. First night game this season here in Fayetteville. They played one other quote-unquote home night game. That was in Little Rock a few weeks ago. And Ogeron squad looking at a 3rd and 8. Chem Morris's team, no more for their offense. Looking for a key stop. LSU has not been great on 3rd downs this season. Burrow finding a screen to Brissett, and that is blown up by Ryan Poley. It's a loss of 4. This is an Arkansas team which is hungry for a signature win. Just 2-7 on the season, and a top 10 team in their building. Early momentum.
Really good job here by Dorian Gerald, not slowing down. Knew it was a screen, but continue to put pressure on the quarterback, so he's got to make a quick decision. And then Ryan Pulley does a great job on the boundary side there from the secondary, sniffing it out, being patient, and making a one-on-one tackle.
Zach Van Rosenberg punched it away. And this one is taken inside the 10. It's a 30-yard punt. It'll be right at the 10-yard line for Arkansas. Their second crack at offense after this. There have been some legendary games in this series, and now a trophy that goes along with it. Just the 22nd year playing for the Golden Boot. It's not as light as it looks, folks. The winner of taking home, it's 24-karat gold in the shape of the states of Arkansas and Louisiana. 4 feet tall, 175 pounds. Abe Basil created it and first awarded in 1996. LSU's won 14 of the 22, and there's a
literal gold boot.
Yeah. Didn't Odell Beckham have shoes just like that?
Probably got about 100 shoes.
Here's Rakeem Boyd. He found his seam and rips off a 7-yard run. The growth of Rakeem Boyd is something that has energized this Arkansas team. Started his career at Texas A&M, then JUCO, came in out of shape, and he's been a revelation the last month and a half.
Yeah, just got here in August, so they knew he was going to have to play himself into shape. And really that injury to Devois Whaley earlier in the season paved the way for Rakeem Boyd to get a majority of the touches, and he's been dynamic, a pleasant surprise, explosive, and even better out of the backfield.
And on play action, they go to the tight end for the first time. This is Cheyenne O'Grady. Expect to hear his name a lot. He had 6 catches in the last game against Vandy. I don't know anybody that uses as many tight ends so well as Arkansas.
No, and talking off to coordinator Joe Craddock about that, they're about 35-40% 2 and 3 tight end sets total. I mean, nobody is that high, but simply he's like, hey, it's our best position group. We got to get our best guys on the field. We're going to do it as much as possible.
Austin Cantrell is one of those guys. He had a couple catches against Alabama. But O'Grady is the leading receiver among the 4 tight ends that will see the field. A stumble in the backfield, and it turns into a loss for Rakeem Boyd. A loss of 4. A tough break.
You know, the thing I like about the way they use these tight ends, guys, is they don't keep them jammed close to the line of scrimmage. You saw the bootleg waggle back behind the line of scrimmage there, throw it out to the flat. A lot of teams don't like to utilize their tight ends out on the perimeter. It's one thing that Arkansas does very well, which keeps them having defenses forced outside of the tackle box.
It allows versatility without substitution.
Absolutely. I mean, defense has got to decide if they're going to add an extra linebacker into the run, or they're going to add a nickel or an extra DB to play in coverage. Good thing with LSU, the linebackers are really good in coverage, so they can play pretty base.
2nd and 14, looking for a screen again. Boyd fell down and caught it, and it was almost another pick for this LSU defensive backfield. Kristen Fulton was right there. Number 1 pass defense in the SEC, number 1 in pass defense efficiency, and among the nation's leaders in picks.
And one thing Dave Aranda knew was coming was the screens. He pointed to the Alabama game at how effective the tight end and running back screens were. Preached all week to stay patient, stay in your gaps, and expect the screens.
Looks like a slippery track tonight on a cold evening. Here's LaMichael Petway, who finds 5. Devin White, of course, you know this. He had to sit out the first half of the Alabama game due to a targeting penalty late in the game the week before, or 2 weeks before, I should say, before their bye. 4th in the league in tackles. And Arkansas forced into a punting situation again. Matthew Phillips is back there. Jonathan Giles to return. Arkansas is going through 2 different punters. Their last time, as we see flags and a whistle, another false start.
False start
on the punt team.
On the offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Last time they rotated Blake Johnson and Matthew Phillips on either side of the timeout before they punted. Giles standing on the logo. LSU once again will have great field position. Rugby style punt, not a good one. We'll see where they mark it. LSU is going to have tremendous field position. We got multiple flags down. A little scuffle on the near side. It's a 24-yard punt. Meanwhile, Racy McMath had an issue with Michael Taylor, and they decided to finish it down on the turf.
Well, it's a rivalry game. LSU's coming off a game where their egos were beat up by Alabama. They got some frustration they want to get out. Yeah, there's a lot of posturing there.
After the play was over, we have offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct fouls. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct against Arkansas, number 91. Unsportsmanlike conduct against LSU, number 17. That is both number 91 and number 17's first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game. First down.
So a little spicy early.
Yeah, I like that call, though. I mean, not one guy did anything more than another, so offset it, give a warning, and move on. Get a little chippy, though, early.
Let's take a look at how Joe Burrow is the readiest this week, brought to you by Holiday Inn Express.
Well, it's his unbelievable preparation and what he can do pre-snap. Most quarterbacks here with 5 blockers on 4 defenders, they're going to keep that run on. They're trying to run the ball to the left, but Burrow sees the blocking angles are much more favorable for the down block to the linebacker to the right side. The angles are better. He flips the play, ends up being an explosive run. These are things that not a lot of quarterbacks do. A lot of quarterbacks will count. You got 4 on that side or 3 on this side, but he goes beyond that.
Max protection. He's going to lob one deep. He's got a man open. Justin Jefferson. Touchdown, LSU. A 40-yard strike from Burrow to Jefferson.
Just outline how he can beat you with his mind. And I was going to say favorable field position to take a shot. Something Steve Ensminger mentioned. They got to be more explosive, got to take play action shots. Great position in the field to do so. And Jefferson just flat out beat his man.
LSU obviously had a plan to try and take advantage of the 105th ranked pass defense in college football. And of their first 5 plays, 4 of them have been in the air. Burrow throws his first touchdown pass since September 29th against Ole Miss. That had been a span of 13 and a half quarters and 132 attempts.
And look at, you got a tight end and a running back in here. They're going to go heavy play action to the right side. Max protection, as I mentioned earlier. So the pocket's clean. Got a one-on-one matchup on the outside on Cameron Curl. Justin Jefferson, your best deep threat. And Burrow does a great job of just throwing a catchable ball. Really easy to try to put that one into the end zone, and you might overthrow a guy. Didn't try to get too cute. Great ball.
Jordan, you mentioned it with that 7-man protection, something LSU's been really good with this year. Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator, told us yesterday, we don't necessarily need to get away from that to find ways to be more explosive. Perfect example right there for the Tigers.
But the numbers for LSU just haven't been there this season in the pass game. 123rd in the nation in passing touchdowns. Of the other 8 teams, 4 of them are option teams that are ranked that low. Midway through the first quarter. And LSU's up 7-zip. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State.
All right, now if you're Arkansas and your offensive coordinator, Joe Craddock, you got to figure out what's going to work. Third drive here, you're off your 15-play script to open the game. Those plays you wanted to test and see how LSU was going to guard you. You got to get the sticks moving. They come back out in this 3-by-1 formation. C.J. O'Grady, tight end backside. It's actually Grayson Gunter backside.
I was hoping you'd say Nub again. Story looking for the tight end, and he fell. So the turf monster has gotten a couple of guys thus far tonight. Home crowd thought it was helped by a push. But remember, Rakeem Boyd slipped in the backfield, and that time looked like he slipped coming out of his cut.
And it was O'Grady, 85, 89. Tough to see from up here, but O'Grady's a guy they want to get involved. And when you do that nub side, what that does, putting 3 receivers to one side, you kind of just play a two-man game. Got your tight end and your running back backside. As I mentioned, 2 of their Ty Story's favorite targets. And you can kind of shorten the field. Go 2-on-2, work concept that have a little more space.
Second down 10 for Ty Story. Here's Rakeem Boyd. That must then simplify the read for the quarterback as well.
Absolutely. Ty Story has really had an up and down year. We've seen some highs in what he was able to do, putting up 31 points against Alabama. Even in a loss, there was a lot of positives. So the more you can simplify, and as I look at the film, the more creative you can get, the more that Chad Morris can really design plays to get certain guys the ball, the more confident Ty Story is throwing the football and going through his progressions.
By the way, you've already hit the over-under on nub comments tonight. So now
and they're back. Oh, nope, they split out.
Yeah, just released. Michael Woods in motion. Here comes pressure from LSU. And Woods only got a hand on it. And Arkansas is going to have to punt it away. It's really hard to try and throw against this LSU defense, even without one of their leaders, John Battle, out there. Todd Harris had a monster game last week against Alabama. He was the first this season to intercept Tua Tagovailoa. Reed Bauer on to punt it away. Giles is deep for LSU. Beautiful kick that time from Bauer. Giles lost it, recovers, and will have nothing on the return. That was a 43-yard punt. 3 yards the wrong way on the return. Santos Ramirez with a special teams tackle. LSU's offense back on the field after a touchdown pass to get him on the board a moment ago.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
It's only the 5th time ever that Arkansas and LSU meet here in Fayetteville. And LSU's on the board thanks to a touchdown pass from Joe Burrow, his 7th of the season. Trying to score on consecutive possessions after their shutout last week by Alabama. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with his first carry, and he's able to find 4 yards. Santos Ramirez down at the bottom of that pile. Arkansas coming with a corner blitz. Burrow goes the other way. It is incomplete. Randy Ramsey brought the pressure. Santos Ramirez run in to remind D. Anderson that it was indeed incomplete.
Nickel pressure comes. The offensive tackle to the left side overslides to it, and that leaves Randy Ramsey with a clear shot on Burrow. Could be a little high.
Yeah, a little bit.
NFL, they're flagging that every time.
Didn't that get flagged for LSU a couple of weeks ago with Devin White?
That absolutely did, and that one might have been worse than Devin White's.
I agree. I think there's a lot of folks in that state of Louisiana that are thinking the same thing right now. Facing a 3rd and 6, LSU uses a timeout. When we talk to coaches throughout the league, their complaint with targeting isn't that it's called, it's that it's not called with any consistency in their eyes. And again, very rarely would they be happy about it. After this timeout, LSU looking at a 3rd and 6.
The College Football Playoff lives on ESPN.
Despite the loss last week, a lot on the line for LSU. There have been numerous teams to get into the top 4 entering week 11 after being outside the top 4 at that time, including Georgia last year at this time. They were ranked 7th in the college football playoff rankings. 3rd and 6 for LSU. Lloyd Cushenberry, the center, calling out the protections. Burrow shares it with Brissett. Burrow to throw, out route, batted away! Cameron Curl had the coverage. He was locked up with Justin Jefferson. And Arkansas' secondary stands tall.
And Jefferson got the better half of him earlier in the game for the touchdown. Great coverage on this one by Cameron Curl. This is where they wanted to go with the ball. Protection was there, but Cameron Curl does a great job out of that break of staying on the hip, turning towards the ball and batting it down. Ball could have been a little more outside, but I don't think that would have made a difference. Curl was in perfect position.
Deion Stewart to return. Zach Van Rosenberg in a crowd. And LSU will down it. 5.5 to go in the first. Let's take a look at Cole Cuts. Cole, what are you looking at?
Oh, Arkansas offensive lineman Yelder Froholt is a physical, strong specimen. Tebow doesn't name you a freak of the week for nothing. Watch the upper body power to just toss a Vanderbilt defender onto the ground, and continues to show you just some of that physicality, finishing at the point of attack. Nice job on the double team. Get your defender to the ground, lay on him, son. I like the way that he finishes. I like how physical he is, uses that upper body strength. He has been the most physical presence on that Arkansas offensive line this fall.
Former defensive lineman out of Svendborg, Denmark. Play action, great sell job by Story. Ball pinballed, and it falls incomplete. Trying to fit it into Cheyenne O'Grady, and Grant Delpit came in and delivered a knock.
Starting to get a feel for Joe Craddock's game plan, getting Ty Story out of the pocket, using the tight ends in misdirections. That was a good ball. Grady's got to come down with that one, almost an interception because of the deflection. Getting the formations that cause LSU to figure things out, get Ty Story out of the pocket seems like what Arkansas is going to be going to.
LSU leads the SEC, 15 interceptions on the season. On 2nd and 10, here's Boyd. He's able to find maybe one. There's a strength, by the way, of Grant Delpit. He comes with a big hit in the secondary a moment ago, comes up and run support there. He's tied for 2nd in the country in picks with 5.
Yeah, he is a ball hawk, a Jamal Adams type comparison when you look at what he can do. And for this defense, he's the adjuster. And we've seen a lot of motion and shifts from Arkansas, which means Delpit is going to be all over the field. You're going to see him at the top right here towards the line of scrimmage.
Neither team has converted a 3rd down yet tonight. Arkansas 0 for 3. And you see LSU 0 for 2. Play clock's at 5 already. Story pressured again, steps up, trying to escape. He'll get out of the pocket, but he's taken down in the open field by Jacob Phillips. It's a scramble of 7, but will leave Arkansas short of the marker by a good 2 yards.
Arkansas already having problems in protection. That time, no pressure, no secondary pressure. Right tackle Brian Wallace just got beat. Ty Story had to tuck it and nearly picked up the 1st down, but not quite.
3rd punt of the night for Reed Bauer. LSU has had great field position all evening. Fair catch taken. LSU will have the longest to go of the night inside the 20 after that 41-yard punt. It's been a monster season for LSU. 3 wins against top 10 teams. It started opening night when they knocked off Mark Richt's Miami squad 33-17. That was win number 1 against a top 10 squad. Then on the road on the Plains, and a walk-off winner for Cole Tracy as LSU knocked off Auburn. Georgia came to town in a top 10 battle, and LSU beat them by 20. Then a night game at home against Mississippi State resulted in a 19-3 win. Grant Delpit with the pick at the 5-yard line to seal the win. Not only great wins, but also great bounce backs for Coach O. They're 7-0 all time under Orgeron following a loss. Here's Nick Brissett. Brissett almost broke free. Curl with the stop after a gain of 7.
That play was meant to go between the tackles. McTelvin Agim, who's usually out at defensive end, playing nose guard there in the A-gap, forces Brissett to go outside. They're going to move Agim all over the place. They've had to play him more outside this year than they usually like. He's 6'3", 280 pounds, so he can really play inside or out.
On 2nd and 3, Brissett again. He is stopped short. Dre Greenlaw in on the stop for Arkansas after he's been battling through some ankle injuries, back as close as he's been to full health in a while. So 3rd and 1. And LSU again will use a timeout, looking at a 3rd down.
I think he was just saying huddle up.
With 12 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, they're going to have to hurry here. Wanted to get a look at what they were going to do, how they were going to line. They better hurry.
Jamar Chase hurries to his spot with 2 on the play clock. Burrow looking for the slant. It is there. Great catch. Fantastic hands by the freshman from Metairie. It's a gain of 6. How about that time management?
I mean, when you have a cerebral quarterback like Joe Burrow, you can allow him to get a look at the defense, get you into the right place. Saw a similar play. I was breaking down film this week against Mississippi State on a 3rd and short where he audibled to a slant on the outside. Ball was a little high. True freshman Jamar Chase does a good job of going up and getting it.
Fascinating, not just to audible, but to do it by going back into a huddle. Here's Brissett trying to knife his way through. Pick up a 4 for the senior out of University High in Baton Rouge.
You go back to the huddle there because you want the element of surprise. And if you simply just rearrange people, then the defense will get a chance to adjust a little bit quicker, and you might not have that advantage. And right there, they wanted the linebacker to be tucked inside so they could hit the free access slant, and it worked by going quick after the huddle.
Ball came loose on the snap. Burrow recovers. And he's taken down. A sack for Arkansas after the snap issue. Michael Taylor, the second, with his first sack of the season. It's a loss of 5.
And Lloyd Cushenberry, the center here, gives a good snap. Burrow just pulls his hands out a little early. As a quarterback, you don't want to split your hands. So as a right-handed quarterback, that left hand has got to press the wrist together of your right hand so that ball doesn't spit out. And a crucial mistake now setting up a 3rd and long.
3rd down, 11. Burrow looking right side, flushed. Can't escape. Back-to-back sacks for Arkansas. Armon Watts gets him that time. Watts is a team leader in sacks. That's his 7th.
You're going to see Watts here working a double team, and this is a problem that we saw against Alabama with Quinnen Williams on the inside. There's 3 LSU defensive linemen there for 2 interior defensive linemen. You got to be able to block those guys on the interior, and Armon Watts just continues to play through the initial block. Does a great job of finishing that off on 3rd down.
That is the end of the first quarter.
So the Arkansas defense trying to give the home team some momentum. Sacks on consecutive plays. LSU will punt when we start the 2nd quarter.
We're the 189th Airlift Wing, Arkansas Air National Guard from Little Rock Air Force Base. And we just want to say, go Hawks! Beat LSU!
Razorback on that plane. That's big time.
Think that was hand painted or is it like a sticker helmet?
Might be a decal. They could probably come off at 500 miles an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
So LSU to punt it away. Zach Van Rosenberg, the 28-year-old former minor league player, gets it away to Stewart. And Stewart with just a couple on the return. Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. It's Thinking Out Loud with G-Mac and Marcus. They'll talk football and want your participation via social media throughout the show. Also available streaming live on the ESPN app. Cole, I think maybe you have a score to settle with Mr. Spears after he put you on your tuchus this morning.
Well, if we can find a way to get a rematch in that one-on-one, I'm all for it. So I wasn't expecting that. And yes, I was owned today on SEC Nation, but I'll give my revenge.
Got to get your feet under you, Cole.
Oh,
You more than anybody know that.
Give me more line tips there, Jordan.
It was great seeing that show in Fayetteville. Joe Disney does a fantastic job producing, and Baron Miller hard at work running everything over there. Rakeem Boyd picks up 3.
Boyd's going to come out. Chase Hayden's going to come in at running back, but they got to get this ground game going. Just 1 first down so far in this game. They've tried the misdirection. They've worked the tight ends. They got to get the ground game going early in drives to set their third downs up a little shorter than they've been.
They average 176 yards on the ground, a top 60 rushing offense. Story off the play action finds Deion Stewart. He is undercut immediately and is only able to find 3 yards. Gary Vincent with another stop for LSU.
If you notice, there's not many traditional routes on the outside that Arkansas is going to attempt tonight. There's a reason. There's a couple good guys on the outside. One of them, number 29, Greedy Williams. You don't want to throw at him at all. He's going to be down here at the bottom. Christian Fulton at the top. This secondary is scary. So the more Arkansas can work underneath, the safer they're going to be.
Unbalanced to the right now. And they got a new quarterback in, and they'll go with the end around and nothing doing. Arkansas trying to get creative. And Deion Stewart goes down for a loss of 7. Razorbacks turn to Cole Kelly that time.
You know, I understand what they're trying to do there, right?
Yeah.
You bring in Cole Kelly, the gravedigger package, right? Third and short to medium there. You might be thinking quarterback run, but in order to do that, you got to put him in the gun. Right, if he's in the shotgun there, LSU's got to seriously think it's going to be quarterback run, something downhill, and then the reverse or misdirection might have a little bit more effect. Under center there, I don't think you get the same thing.
Reed Bauer to punt it away again. And a fair catch taken at the 23. Let's take you to the studio. Here's Dari. Deep South's oldest rivalry playing between the hedges tonight. 2 national titles apiece. By the way, Cam Newton's at the game tonight over there on the Auburn sideline.
Maybe having a little input on that offense, huh?
Could be.
He came out in a little razzle-dazzle for that first touchdown.
You think Gus would listen to Cam? He doesn't listen to anybody else.
Probably not.
There's Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the right side for 5.
The guy did get him a national championship. I mean,
if you're going to listen to anybody,
yeah.
He'd be one of them. Cole is conspicuously silent when this Auburn subject comes up.
Well, after the way Cam played Thursday night against the Steelers, I don't know if anybody wants his input.
Ooh, it's a Steelers fan talking. 2nd down 5 for Joe Burrow, transfer from Ohio State. Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Ohio at Athens High School. Edwards-Helaire can only find 1, maybe 2. Hayden Henry at a Little Rock's Pulaski Academy in on the stop. And that'll leave 3rd down for LSU.
Think about this Arkansas defense. They've underachieved for sure. And they've been porous at times. But there's some good players on that side of the ball. McTelvin Agim, Armon Watts, Scooter Harris, Dre Greenlaw, Santos Ramirez. They got 4 or 5 guys that are playing at a really high level. So if you allow them to stick around in this game, they're going to keep making plays.
LSU has not been good on 3rd down, 94th in the country in conversions this season. On 3rd and 3, they get a big one. Edwards-Helaire just got to the line. Armand Watts had him wrapped up. But it'll be a fresh set for Joe Burrow and company.
Boy, big push from the middle of that LSU offensive line, especially center Lloyd Cushenberry, who, guys, we talked to the coaching staff at LSU yesterday, and offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger said he's probably the MVP of this football team. Now, you put the film on outside of last week against Alabama, which, listen, the best defensive player in college football wears 92 for Alabama. He makes everybody look bad. Cushenberry's had a heck of a year.
Sophomore out of Dutchtown High School. Goes 6'4", 309. Edwards-Helaire again to the perimeter. And it's a gain of 6. Already 5 carries for Edwards-Helaire. Nick Brissett has 4 carries as they rotate the running backs. Out of the shotgun, Edwards-Helaire again. A lot of dancing back there, and he's able to pick up maybe a yard. Drake Greenlaw with the stop. Third down again for LSU.
LSU is going to bring a fullback in the game. Arkansas doesn't sub. Keep their nickel package in. Last 3rd and shorts, we saw a deep shot. I don't think we're going to see it. I think we'll see a run here as they overload to the left side, bottom of your screen.
Edwards-Helaire picks up another one. Gain of 5 that time. Another stop by Drake Greenlaw. And this LSU drive continues thanks to a pair of 3rd down conversions on the ground.
That's just a great call here. This is a counter play. You're going to see Torrey Carter, the fullback there, coming from the left side of your screen, kicking out to the right. They get flow going one way, and you just need one block on that counter play, and that's the fullback, and he got it on that one.
LSU was heavy pass early. Now they're grinding it out on the ground. Nick Brissett just re-entered, and he's able to pick up 6. They've now run it twice as many times as they've thrown it over 21 plays.
That's really what we need to see out of this LSU offense. I mean, they're best when the running game is going and the pass game can rely on the play action. The reason we've seen inconsistencies from Joe Burrow is at times they've had to max protect. They've had to only run 2 or 3 guys in routes, and the windows haven't been there. The play action when the run's going is when this pass game's at its best.
Here's Brissett again. Another first down on the ground. Mario Bell stops him after a gain of 7.
Boy, Cole pointed out Lloyd Cushenberry and this interior offensive line for LSU right now getting a ton of push. I would keep feeding this offensive line. I'd keep feeding the running backs. It's a really good drive they got going.
Ninth play of the drive. Brissett behind Foster Morrow, the tight end, picks up 2. Hayden Henry, the tackle. We're talking about Foster Morrow a bit this weekend, and it's a real change for him within the scope of this offense. Matt Canada used the tight ends a lot. Shifts, motions, got them lined up, got them to be advantageous. That's kind of gone the way of the dodo this year.
Yeah, he's much more of a blocker. He had 8 multi-reception games last year. He was involved in runs. He was more involved in the pass game. Just 2 games this year where he's had more than 1 catch. So not as utilized, but still effective.
Just 3 out in the route, and the pass is complete to Justin Jefferson, who has a touchdown catch today. That one goes for 16.
Just 3 on the route, but you see how the run game opens it up. Deep, heavy play action there. A lot of extra time for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's the play action. You're going to have a deep post on the left side of your screen. If you suck those linebackers up, it creates a great sweet spot, about 10 to 20 yards for that deep over, and that's right where Justin Jefferson was.
That was the first pass of the drive, goes for 16. Play number 11 on this drive for LSU. Back to the ground. Brissett finds 2. Briston Guidry out of Kenner, Louisiana. Archbishop Rummel in on the stop. Arkansas has a few Louisiana guys on their roster, including Dejon Harris, a star middle linebacker. Burrow to throw for the second time this drive. He gets chased. We got a flag down, and he one-hops it into Jefferson. The flag is in the middle of the field, back towards where it might be holding. Michael Taylor was chasing Joe Burrow out of the pocket. We'll hear from Lee Hedrick.
Holding on the offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Sadiq Charles, the left tackle for LSU.
They're going to see him on the left side here, working on Randy Ramsey. And it's that secondary movement by Ramsey. Does a good job using his hands initially, and then as Ramsey turns the corner, that's when you got to let him go. Trust your mobile quarterback to escape.
Arkansas loads up the line. They got 5 on the line of scrimmage. Burrow on a draw is going to bounce it to the outside, and he goes tumbling down after a gain of 2. Santos Ramirez and a flag after the fact. Michael Taylor came in late, and that's going to cost Arkansas after they had LSU backed up. LSU would have been looking at a 3rd and about 13.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 91, late hit with targeting.
Oh!
The play is under review.
The officials will review it. We'll give you a look at it. Taylor lowering the head right on the back of Joe Burrow. They'll see if it's forcible contact back in a moment.
Is confirmed. Number 91 of the defense has disqualified himself from the game.
And with that, Michael Taylor's senior night comes to a premature end.
Yeah, Burrow's a runner here, but the indicator, you lower the crown of your helmet and you make forcible contact to the head or neck area. You can see it clip the back of Burrow's helmet. You may not like it, but as a runner's going down, those are the hits that need to be out of the game. And that's why they enforce it.
Corner blitz, Brissett going the opposite way, and he's taken down by Dre Greenlaw and Dejon Harris.
You know, some of these targetings are avoidable, and some of them you feel for the players, right?
Yeah.
The bang bang when the receiver's changing his height, they're coming down, but that one, you got a guy going to the ground, you don't chase him to the ground, especially not lowering your head. You got to dive over him, you got to have some self-control.
And remember, when a quarterback runs, he's no longer afforded any special protection to come with the position. But I think it's more obvious when it's a quarterback running.
Absolutely is. Yeah, absolutely is. You got to have an alert going up when it's a quarterback that's going to the ground.
14th play of the drive for LSU. Here's Brissett straight up the gut. Got some help and takes it inside the 5. Turns his way to the goal line. And he is in on a physical 12-yard run.
This touchdown in the stat column is going to go under Nick Brissett, but watch Garrett Brumfield, watch Sadiq Charles, Lloyd Cushenberry in there. That offensive line is as responsible. Foster Moreau, everybody pushing Brissett into the end zone.
A 14-play drive. 13 of those 14 plays were runs.
There's a statement, huh?
Yeah. And that's how you get a team ready to bounce back, right? You just return to the simplest part of the game.
Nothing gets you more confident than just exerting your will over a defense. And that's what 13 out of 14 runs on a drive looks like.
There's almost 7.5 minutes of smash mouth football for the LSU Tigers. And on the road at Arkansas, they've opened up a 14-0 lead. Chestnut Hill is lit tonight. How about game day? They made the trip up there. Looked a little chilly. I think we got them matched here today. We didn't get any lobster. 14-0 LSU leads Arkansas. Back to Fayetteville in a moment.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
It is senior night here in Arkansas. 15 seniors honored pregame, and one of them has already left the game. Michael Taylor ejected for targeting. This is a senior class that's been through a lot. They continue to evolve, though. Coach Cham Morris has preached to his team that we need to do right by the seniors. He has a senior meeting every Friday afternoon. Talk about expectations. Talk about life lessons. This is a pass complete to Rakeem Boyd. And Boyd is able to pick up 4. And he asked for honest feedback from his seniors. What they have learned from him, what they want to learn from him.
Transition's never easy. And I've been part of a transition. A coach comes in. Oftentimes, as a new coach, you need to create relationships mostly with those seniors, even though you're going to have them for the shortest period of time, because they have the best pulse of the team. They can tell you what's working and what's not. Honestly, they know that locker room better than a coach. So the more he connects with those seniors, the easier his job's going to be.
Here's Boyd. And an Arkansas first down. Cole, unique snaps here for Ty Clary of Arkansas.
A little bit different ways to do it. The traditional snap, kind of like this, you're throwing a football. So you'll see how this one sort of flies back with a spiral, just like a regular football toss. But one way to avoid that, because they get high and they go out and sometimes come out quickly, is to hold the nose of the ball. It's a little bit of a different way. It comes back in more of a knuckleball fashion. All you got to do is just not bend your wrist. So you hold the point of the ball, don't bend your wrist. Ball goes back in more of a knuckleball fashion, easier for the quarterback to handle.
Here's a pass complete to Cheyenne O'Grady. Cole, oddly enough, that's also the same form one would use when playing the xylophone.
Well, listen, the band's over here, and they're interested to see how people snap the football, too. Tom, they want to learn what's going on the field.
And it's easier for the quarterback because it's a more reliable snap.
Easier for the quarterback, easier for the center, too. I mean, think about it. The center's moving left to right laterally. The more you move, the more you step, the more your wrist gets involved in that snap as a center, and the more play you have. It's like chipping. Right? When you chip, you won't want to break those wrists too much. You want to keep them straight. Same thing with this center. Nice, easy stroke, right back to the quarterback. And he's been more consistent after being very inconsistent.
Oh, my goodness. That did not work. Jordan Jones tackled by Rakeem Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd's wrong here. He's either got to go behind the quarterback or he's got to be a lead blocker on that. But a lot of miscommunication there, and that one doesn't feel good, and it's embarrassing.
Ugh. And now 3rd and 12, and LSU will give them some yardage. Oh, they're going to get Arkansas for the movement. Ty Story's like, wait a second, we got a guy running right up top of our A-gap.
I think Johnny Gibson right here, the right guard on the left side. Yeah, see, he reaches out and touches Devin White there.
Offside on the defense, number 40, contact. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Cole, what's an offensive lineman taught to do in that situation?
Well, usually you hold your water depending on what the play call is, Tommy. If your guy gets offsides, you snap the football, then you go. If you have a freeze play called, then you're going to try to get them offside, just snap the football and go. Otherwise, you go with the snap count. You can't move.
I love the little loophole here, though. I remember our offensive line getting taught. If someone comes into your neutral zone, reach out and touch them. Kind of a gray area in the rule.
Oh, right through the hands of LSU's defender. That was Greedy Williams, who thought he had his third of the season. He doesn't get many opportunities because they don't throw his way very often.
And almost a really poor decision by Ty Storey. Scramble drill, you have to be on the same page. One guy's always going deep. That ball's got to either be thrown into the third row or it's got to be thrown towards the end zone.
This will be the 6th punt of the night for Arkansas. Razorbacks 0 for 6 on third down conversions. Reed Bauer gets away a beauty. And a fair catch taken all the way back towards the 13-yard line. A 46-yard punt. LSU trying to add to its lead. 14-0 Tigers. Back in a moment. Yeah, thanks, Dari. 14-0 LSU. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is now in a tailback. And LSU turns back to the ground game. The Tigers, ooh, right into the marimbas. Somebody save the marimbas.
What's a marimba?
We got xylophones, we got marimbas.
The music man over here.
What kind of sound do you think this made?
Oh.
We got a
sandwich
piece
in there. Hey, playing the marimba is a full contact sport over there.
Attack of the marimbas.
Hey, keep your head on a swivel.
It's like playing hot cross buns over there.
On 2nd and 7, LSU has now run it on 21 of their last 25 plays. By the way, speaking of the band, if they can get everybody back and healthy again, we will show you the Razorback Marching Band and their live performance at the half. Hope everybody is okay. Over on SEC Network Plus, you can start streaming now on the ESPN app.
Their first charge timeout of the half.
Arkansas uses a timeout here.
Timer. Please reset the game clock to 2:09. 2:09.
I didn't think we were going to get a marimba mention in the game tonight, but you can cross that one off your bingo card. LSU has the lead here. Talk about bounce-back games. And Ed Ogeron met with his guys to try to get them in the right frame of mind. He said it helps that this is a rivalry game and there's a trophy on the line to help them refocus.
Well, yeah, I think it helps that Ed Ogeron kind of sent a challenge out to his team, especially on the interior offensive line, on the defensive line. He said, we need to be better. What better way to make a statement than what they've been doing for the last 20-some-odd plays? Physical attack, running the football. Offensive line is blowing up the defensive line for Arkansas. This is the type of football LSU wants to play.
3rd and 2. And it works again. Clyde Edwards-Helaire finds 5. They needed 2. Dejon Harris in on the stop for Arkansas.
Mentioned Joe Burrow before on the line of scrimmage, what he's able to do. Look at this overhang player. The play is originally designed to run to the weak side to the right. Burrow sees an overhang, changes the play, runs it to the left, first down. That's what makes him so dangerous. Yeah, the passing numbers won't blow you away, but his ability pre-snap is elite.
And now they go play action. O-line picks it up. He dumps it off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's still up, and momentum and forward progress was stopped shy of the marker. Dejon Harris and Dre Greenlaw in on the stop for Arkansas to set up 2nd and 1. I want to see what they're going to do here, right? They turn right back to the ground game, or they take a shot. They sped up the tempo. They go back to the ground and unable to pick up the first down. Demario Bell on the stop. This time, and now LSU going more tempo here, 3rd and short. Quick snap. Burrow pulls it. No, gave it up. And Arkansas is there to snuff it out. Similar play on back-to-back snaps for LSU, going tempo with a quick handoff.
Timeout, Arkansas. That is their second charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
And the Razorbacks, Dorian Gerald and Dejon Harris in there to blow it up.
And it's just a read option. Going to be reading this guy. He stems inside. Linebacker stays inside. Burrow has got to keep this one and get to the edge. That's one. He thought about it. But if he pulls that, it's definitely a first down, if not more.
6th tackle of the game for Dejon Harris. Zach Van Rosenberg.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 54 seconds.
Originally signed with LSU baseball coach Paul Maneri in 09, but instead went pro. 6 years in the minors as a pitcher, then walked on 2 years ago as a tight end. Moved to punter last August for LSU. Was a minor league teammate of Detroit Tigers outfielder, former LSU, or infielder I should say, former LSU product Jacoby Jones in the minors. Stewart lets it bounce. It takes a heck of an LSU bounce, and Stewart saves more loss of yardage by scooping it up. We've got a flag down. Keenan Jones in on the special team stop. And the snapper Blake Ferguson getting in on some action. 48-yard punt, -7 on the return. We saw Florida snapper playing air guitar this afternoon. That game in Gainesville. Gators came back to win. And
really aggressive air guitar too. He wasn't just slapping the bass. He was.
He went behind his back. Yeah, he went behind his back at one point.
Specialists, they got a lot of time. They're not kicking and snapping, working on their air guitar.
He went down low, little Johnny Be Good action down near the ankle. Florida came from behind to win. That's a win that might mean something to LSU if the college football playoff the 4 spots.
Especially with 2 losses, because you'd like everybody to lose, but that resume is going to be so important for LSU. It already looks really good, but the better Auburn can look, the better Florida can continue to look towards the end of the season, the stronger that resume continues to be.
This is a long conversation to figure out where the penalty came and what the mark-off would be. I think we got a block in the back at about the 25-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. We got 2 fouls. There was the block in the back. And unsportsmanlike also against LSU. Ed Ogeron can hear it better than we can, or you at home. The flag's at the 38. So that might be about where it was committed, although I thought I saw it at the 25. right in the middle of the screen, right there, at about the 28 from Foster Moreau. Unfortunately, the referee's microphone wasn't working, so we had to turn to our lip reading skills.
He's not used to having the white hat every week, though, right?
No,
they rotate a little bit.
Rotation with this crew. Lee Hedrick and Steve Marlowe both wear the white hat. Marlowe is the center judge this week. They will walk off the penalties. And with 39 seconds left, Arkansas will have great field position. They walked off both penalties. 25 yards worth of penalties on that play. Our best guess, right side of the screen. There's Moreau. Yep.
That's a good call. At first, I didn't see much, but
we did not locate the unsportsmanlike.
No. It's one of those, sometimes maybe it was something said to the ref. You never know.
Yeah, could be. Or said between players. Corner blitz coming. LSU brings 4. And they get to him. Story lost the football. LSU falls on it. It is ruled a fumble recovery in LSU football with 31 seconds left. Grant Delpit recovered it. Michael Divinity Jr. hacked it out of Story's hand.
And Arkansas trying to take a deep shot. Story does a good job of buying some time here initially as he looks left, looks right, pressure comes, escapes. But as a quarterback, when you escape the pocket, you can't stop your feet. You cannot. That ball has got to be thrown on the run. Divinity does a great job coming from the opposite side of the field of continuing to rush with speed and strip that ball away. Can never pull up and stop your feet as a quarterback scrambling outside the pocket.
LSU top 5 in the country in turnover margin. And they get another takeaway. An opportunity for Joe Burrow to add another score before the half. All-out blitz coming for Arkansas. Burrow taken down. Loss of football. Dre Greenlaw scoops it up. And Greenlaw forced out of bounds by Nick Brissett. McTelvin again forced the fumble. And the Razorbacks have another opportunity. And Burrow limping off for LSU.
Arkansas saying right back at you. They bring pressure, and Agim does a great job rushing past the quarterback, getting back into position. And boy, Greenlaw is an athlete. I thought he was going to go. Good thing for LSU. They tracked him down.
So after 2 plays, Arkansas is able to get it deeper into LSU territory than they have all night. Their own fumble and then LSU.
Yeah, like they just hit a big pass play. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Cole Kelly in the game now.
They gained 31 yards on that exchange. They faked the end around. Kelly looking deep. Chucks it to the end zone. It is incomplete. Contact between Christian Fulton and Cheyenne O'Grady and no penalty flag. And Fulton is slow to get up.
Boy, they run the complimentary play. Last time we saw Cole Kelly and they fake the reverse. This time they fake it, throw the play action. I tell you what, Cole Kelly is not afraid to throw it up. And the hand fighting with Christian Fulton and Cheyenne O'Grady, man, he couldn't get his hands up and got him right in the face in that one. That's the thing, a lot of hand fighting. That ball was up in the air for what felt like an eternity. That's like a center fielder. You lose it in the light sometimes. I mean, you take your eyes off it, you try to find it again, and O'Grady just a little late.
It'd be like an outfielder if Andrew Benintendi was trying to catch a fly ball and somebody from the other team tomahawked his forearms and held him down.
Doesn't make it easy.
14 seconds left in the half. And this is not a good sign for LSU. The Christian Fulton, the junior from Metairie, Louisiana, who's a #1 prospect in the state, #3 cornerback in the country, and he signed out of Archbishop Rummel, is still down.
Tell you what, is there ever a route that doesn't look open to Cole Kelly?
No, they all look open to
Not
him.
necessarily a bad thing, right? You got your 6'4" tight end out there. You want to give him a jump ball. It's late in the half. You love that he pulls the trigger there. He's definitely a guy they bring in to either run the ball in short yardage or take a deep shot.
Yeah. He's got the arm to do so, doesn't he?
He's got a cannon. Absolute cannon, but what got him into trouble earlier in the season, what lost him his starting job, was turning the ball over. 4 of them against North Texas early in the year really sealed it for him. And as you said, the hand fighting, Grady trying to find the ball, just doesn't really tell. Fulton in some pain there. Can't really tell what happened there.
He is gingerly being helped off the field by the athletic training staff, led, of course, by Jack Marucci in his 23rd season. And Fulton favoring, looked like his legs, maybe his knee, will be helped back to the locker room.
And Arkansas still got a a timeout here, so you'd like to get something on the scoreboard before half. So I wouldn't think you have to necessarily take a shot in the end zone as they just did. Try to pick up 5-6 yards or so. Give yourself a little more comfortable position for a field goal and get some points on the board. Go to half and make some corrections.
Ty Story back in a quarterback. LSU brings 4. Story over the middle. Caught! And a first down for Jared Cornelius with 6 seconds left on the clock. It's a 27-yard strike. Timeout taken by Arkansas here. That is a big play for Ty Story. Came with the pocket collapsing.
Boy, 30-second timeout.
One thing offensive coordinator Joe Craddock said is that Ty Story has been holding the football a little too long. If it's not there, tuck it and run, but does a great job of keeping his eyes downfield just before he might think he's got to tuck in and run, and finding Cornelius on a deep dig route. Boy, Cornelius pushed that about 20 yards downfield. That's about as deep as a dig route will go. Takes a long time to develop. Quarterbacks got to be patient. What a ball.
And so the senior Jared Cornelius out of Shreveport with a 27-yard gain. Just his 6th catch of the season.
And now with 6 seconds left, you got time to take a shot into the end zone. You got time for a jump ball. It's got to be nothing less than that, though. And the ball's got to be back shoulder. So I wouldn't be surprised if they throw something quick to the boundary, to the top of your screen here, into the end zone. Either a touchdown or an incompletion.
He's got Stewart and Cornelius that way. And now they'll put Stewart in motion. Looking end zone, fires. It's batted down. 1 second left. Grant Delpit knocked it down.
Boy, that is close. That's the dangers of going on the run as a quarterback with only 6 seconds. If he holds that a tick longer, or that ball gets batted up into the air, half's over.
Yep.
And you don't even have a chance for a field goal.
It's a very active LSU secondary. One of the best in the country. 24-yard attempt now for Connor Limpert. And he got it in. Curled it just inside the upright. And Arkansas finds some points late. That was a 4-play, 27-yard drive. It was helped out by the fumble recovery after they traded fumbles. Connor Limpert, 17-21 in the season. One of 20 semifinalists for the Lou Groza Award. This one started left and curled back in. Big start for LSU. They've turned to their ground game time and again. They lead 14-3 at Ogeron, standing by with Cole Kubelik.
Coach, a lot happening there towards the end of the half, couple turnovers. How do you temper the emotions coming out of halftime?
Yeah, we're going to keep on playing. Defense is playing great, making a lot of big plays. We got to protect the quarterback. That was a bad play on the offense. We shouldn't have gave that ball up at the end. But you know what? Give credit to Arkansas. This is going to be a hell of a game, hell of a second half.
run game's been dominant. What does that do for your football team?
Yeah, we got to run the football. We got to run the football better. We got to establish the line of scrimmage, take some time off the clock. We expect to do it again in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
35 plays in the first half for LSU. 26 of them runs. It's a 14-3 lead for the Tigers. Let's get you to the studio. Doring, and Chiz. He's got a man open, touchdown, a 40-yard strike. Takes it inside the 5, turns his way to the goal line. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. Joe Burrow threw his first touchdown pass in over a month to get the scoring started for Ed Ogeron's team. They're looking for a bounce-back victory after getting shut out last week. Meanwhile, Ty Storey in Arkansas found some late offense. And Chad Morris's squad looking for his signature win here in his first season. Welcome back. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. Only 17 points scored in the first half, but that was a wildly entertaining half. We had a lot of stuff going on.
And wildly entertaining at the end of the half with the 2 turnovers and Arkansas pushing it downfield. To me, the story of this game has been LSU. The offensive line running the football, obviously opening up the deep strike for Joe Burrow. The offense looks good.
LSU has relied on its run game in a big way. They've run 35 plays tonight, 26 of them coming on the ground after they were pass heavy early. It is a chilly night, right about freezing. And after Arkansas had some footing issues early on, they seem to have solved that. Fair catch taken by Nick Brissett at the 10-yard line. Let's go down the field, check in with Cole Kublik.
Tom spoke to Chad Morris on what he wants to see in the second half. He did mention, obviously, we have to be better against the run with the success that LSU has had. But he said running the football is going to be instrumental for Arkansas. He wants to see Rakeem Boyd be more involved. Said he thought they were very close to busting off a couple of big runs with him in the first half.
Boyd 7 carries for 22 yards, and he has been wildly productive for Arkansas over the last 4 games in a 4-game stretch where they're averaging nearly 30 points per game.
Yeah, they got to get him going. Got to get him going out of the backfield as well, throwing the football to him.
You want to throw on first down, complete to the perimeter, and Justin Jefferson, who has a touchdown catch for LSU tonight. Ryan Pulley in the coverage.
Same way they started the first quarter. Yeah, throw, hitch route, stop route on the outside. What that does for an offense is you're not going to get a ton of yards, but that little seed in the defensive coordinator's mind for Arkansas of, okay, they're going to throw the ball. I got to make sure I expand my linebackers, not stack everybody into the box. That'll help the run game out.
John Chavis, the SEC veteran, defensive coordinator, first year here at Arkansas. Brissett finds 4 yards. Talking with Chavis yesterday, the biggest thing that Arkansas is looking for, one constant that he has had in his great defenses, and he loves to point out the job that Al Wilson did for Tennessee in 1998, is to have a leader defensively. There's Chief in the glasses, middle of the screen. His boyhood buddy, Kevin Steele, directing the defense for Auburn tonight, that big game against Georgia. 3rd and 2. They're going to throw it on 3rd and 2 to a slant and off the hands of Jamar Chase. And LSU will be forced to punt, throwing Ryan Pulley's way again. What do you think about that play call?
Exact same play we saw. Remember when they were quick to the line of scrimmage, huddled again, came back out and threw the slant? That's the exact same play without the semantics of the huddle there. Ball was a little behind the slant. Last slant throw for Burrow was a little high, but out in front of the receiver. Really tough for a receiver to make that catch on his back hip on a slant route, breaking to the middle of the field.
Deion Stewart back to receive along with Jared Cornelius. Fair catch asked for at the 25 by Stewart. 43-yard punt. This is what Arkansas's offense looked like in the first half. A field goal late after they had the best field position of the game, after both teams traded turnovers. But otherwise, it's been a very busy day for the punter, Reed Bauer.
Yeah, they can't get the run game going, and then when they do try to protect and push the ball downfield, they haven't been able to hold up and long enough. LSU's done a great job of disrupting at the line of scrimmage, something that Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, mentioned. They haven't been as disruptive up front as he'd like them to be or as they've been in the past. And Caleb Chason, injured early in the season, a great pass rusher. They haven't really
Timer,
found...
please reset the game clock to 13:31. 13:31.
Haven't really found that guy that can be a second, whether it's Divinity on the outside or Devin White rushing the passer.
On the other side for Arkansas, Ty Storey in the quarterback run game has been so key this season. And he has yet to really get it going. 4 carries, only 7 yards. We had a chat with him about it yesterday. And the fine line for a quarterback is that one is incomplete. Trying to find Cornelius. The fine line, Jordan, in carrying the ball, taking off on quarterback runs, and protecting yourself.
Yeah, Ty Storey's a guy that, I mean, he's gritty. He's tough. He's going to take on a linebacker at the end of a run if he needs to get 1 or 2 extra yards. We obviously saw that make him pay for it. Was that Auburn or Ole Miss? Which game was that? He got the
that
concussion.
was the Ole Miss game.
The Ole Miss
he took
game.
a lot of hits in
Yeah,
that.
could have got out of bounds, didn't, got the concussion. So I asked him, very straightforward, does that mean you're going to slide more? He said, no, not necessarily.
And here he is trying to run, and he gets bear hugged and swallowed up by Ed Alexander. No gain.
Look, he's the kind of quarterback that's going to do anything for his team. You love that kind of guy, but it does come with its risks. He's going to get banged up. He's going to stay in the pocket at times longer than he should. When he should use his feet or he should find a check down. It's going to pay off sometimes, as it did there late in the half, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, we've had him in 2 previous games this season, and both times he's been a human pinata. That Auburn game, his jersey turned green. He got knocked out on the other game against Ole Miss early. Cole Kelly had to finish that one up for him. 3rd down 10, blitz, and there's another hit. Grant Delpit very gently put Storey down on the turf, and a little bit of dance to follow. It's a loss of 8.
And this is something that Ty Storey's got to start to see. Grant Delpit's the adjuster. He's going to be all over the field. But Ty Storey's got to notice this safety right here, low to the line of scrimmage, which means you're going to get pressure on the outside. He just never sees this one looking to the right side of the field. When that safety's low, probably means he's going to push and cover the slot guy. If he's high, usually don't have as much to worry about. Got to notice those things.
6th punt of the game for Bauer, the freshman from Magnolia, Texas. This one comes down in Arkansas territory, and we'll cross over the midline. It rolls into a 42-yard punt. Pressure from Grant Delpit, who has been all over the field for LSU tonight. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. On a chilly night in Northwest Arkansas, LSU's offense back to work, leading 14-3. End around, and Jefferson got past the first guy before Cameron Curl brought him down.
What a play by McTelvin Agim there. I mentioned it earlier. He's 280 pounds, and he just changed direction and caught up. I mean, that was impressive. He's a big man that doesn't move like a big man. A great play to not lose contain here. As you can see, he starts in to take on the fullback, and then he's able to recover and get Justin Jefferson to turn inside. He looks like a 250-pound defensive end at times.
Here comes a corner blitz. Burrow got rid of it quickly. It goes for a first down after he took a shot. Precision pass under pressure from Joe Burrow.
So I love that. I mean, when you watch Joe Burrow on film, there's one word that comes to mind, and it's composure. Watch him stare down this blitz and not even flinch. To stay calm under pressure, to stay composed like that, you can't learn that. You either have it or you don't.
8 of 12 on the game. Play action. Wide open is Justin Jefferson. He bends it to the outside, and with a stiff arm, he finds another 15 yards. How about yards after catch and contact that time? And Jefferson's over the century mark.
And this was impressive because against Alabama, they'd go max protect, and when nobody was there, Joe Burrow would force a throw. He started to the left, tried to hit a vertical route, and comes back to the opposite side of the field and hits Jefferson for a big gain.
5 catches, 103 for Jefferson, including a touchdown.
Something we just didn't see last week. I know it's a different opponent, but
Clyde Edwards-Helaire pauses, breaks free, and punches it in. 13-yard touchdown run. That's something else we didn't see last week. LSU was held scoreless, shut out by Alabama.
I mean, just look what the play action pass does to the run game, and vice versa. I mean, this offense is clicking on all cylinders because the run game is rolling. That means the pass game's more efficient, the big plays are there, throwing the football, and then you can come back to the run and continue to pound it.
Cole Tracy's point after is good. The vision and the patience pay off for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. As always this time of year, we like to salute all of our nation's veterans. And we take this opportunity to look at some of the courageous soldiers from around the globe proudly showing off their school pride. LSU and Arkansas. And we thank you all for your service. LSU, the 7th ranked team in the country, leading Arkansas 21-3. New Year's Day bowl game is in the crosshairs for this LSU team, and perhaps a chance to get in the college football playoff. And need some help down the way, and got some help on this touchdown run.
Well, the fullback has been a crucial part to this offense. You're going to see Torrey Carter with the block, and then the backside guard is going to pull around as well and seal up Scooter Harris. But that block by the fullback, Torrey Carter, hadn't seen this a ton. I think this is a wrinkle that LSU was feeling very comfortable with in the run game. Adding that fullback in there. We used to see a lot of Foster Moreau in the past few games, both in protection and in the run game, but Torrey Carter has been a huge part of LSU's success so far learning the football.
Story throws on the run, and the wobbler gets knocked away. Greedy Williams is there. DBU is alive and well for LSU.
It's just not fair. It's not fair when you have the instincts that Greedy Williams has. And oh, by the way, you're 6'3". I mean, it's just not fair.
5th pass broken up by this LSU defense. Williams, one of 14 finalists for the Jim Thorpe Award. Over the middle, complete for a first down. Back to the tight end, Cheyenne O'Grady. They went to high school just a couple blocks away at Fayetteville High School.
Must have been an emphasis at half. Joe Craddock mentioned, the offensive coordinator for Arkansas, when we met with him just yesterday, when LSU gets in a too high look and they're not in it much, they want to attack the middle of the field. 2 safeties on that one, attack the middle of the field. Now LSU back in that traditional 1 safety look. Grant Delpit up high.
Story pressured, gets rid of it, and it falls incomplete. Let's check in with the studio.
.186.
And you guys have heat. That's as good a reason as any to be in there.
Sign me up. Is there an extra seat over there?
Breakaway speed with Georgia offense. It's kind of coming to its own here late in the year. They didn't have all those breakaway plays early in the year. Certainly not relative to last season. On 2nd and 10. Incomplete again. Greedy Williams in on the coverage. We're talking about Joe Craddock, the offensive coordinator for Arkansas in his first season here. Came over from SMU. And there hadn't been a whole lot of sleep for him. You see he's hiding right behind that pillar next to John Chavis in the glasses. He and his wife Abby welcomed their second child, Kane, late in the week. It was about 3 hours of sleep for him Thursday night. So congratulations to Abby and Joe. And
Joe
Charlie's
Kane. Joe Kane, Tom, not named after the quarterback in the program.
That's right. No, but he knew what we were talking about. Here's Boyd off the right side. Now Charlie's got a playmate in the Craddock family. That's a gain of 11 there for Rakeem Boyd.
As if offensive coordinators get enough sleep as it is.
Right.
Add a baby in there. That's a sight that Arkansas has been wanting to see. Rakeem Boyd getting a full head of steam, not getting met at the line of scrimmage.
Boyd is the only SEC running back to go for over 100 yards against Alabama this season. One of only 2 on the year. Devin White in on the tackle. And this Arkansas offense finally has a possession that possesses more than 1 first down.
You know, Boyd, I first got to know him watching Last Chance U on Netflix. I was a junior college kid myself, so have a lot of appreciation about what it takes to take a step from junior college to the SEC, how different the game is, and more importantly, just how much you appreciate the amenities, everything you get, the food in the nutrition center. I mean, he's a guy that's hungry to help this team out and as appreciative as his opportunity as anybody.
Devin White put the hit on Craddock. Boyd out there to pick up a couple. What are those wafers that you always steal from every nutrition stop in the league?
What are those called? Why am I forgetting? Stingers. There. Oh,
Stingers.
So good.
Oh my gosh, the caramel.
You take
Stingers.
that 5-finger discount every time we show up, and it's
absolutely.
There's Boyd with the shake after White brought the pressure. 3rd and 9.
Arkansas back in this nub set. O'Grady down here. Like to go quarterback run out of that set, but in 3rd and long, I think they're going to throw the ball to the top of the screen here as they get to a bunch formation.
Jordan Jones wasn't sure what the call was. Play clock's at 2. And they did not get it off. Did Chad Morris get a timeout? Field judge says yes. Stoppage of play as Arkansas faces a key 3rd down.
Timeout, Arkansas. That is their first charge timeout of the half.
Razorbacks on 3rd down have struggled. Can they convert one? Only thing we missed was a shot of Crystal Bridges. Great museum here in Northwest Arkansas, and always fantastic to come here. Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, home of the Razorbacks. Final home game of the season for this Arkansas squad on their senior night. Trying to find some offense here, under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Ty Story with a check to the sideline. Coming out of a timeout. And he'll adjust Boyd. Devin White coming on the blitz. Story on the quarterback draw is able to find a couple. Rashard Lawrence brought him down. And if that's 4-down territory, certainly makes sense why you would run it there, and they will indeed keep the offense on the field.
Story cut that up a little sooner. Might have had a lane if he keeps that out to the C gap where it's designed, but manageable 4th down here.
They've only gone for it 4 times on 4th down this season. LSU brings 4, and they get to him. Glenn Logan with the sack, his 2nd of the year.
Boy, and that delayed pressure from the 2nd level has absolutely been killing Arkansas. It wasn't even the blitz that got there, but it's the O-lineman coming off. You can see there, Brian Wallace comes off to the pressure. The nickel that's blitzing on the outside and leaves Glenn Logan unblocked. That's the thing. Sometimes pressure doesn't always hit home, but it creates confusion, and somebody's going to capitalize on it.
Tigers! LSU! Go Tigers!
Burrow lets it go. Beautiful comeback route, and that's good for an LSU first down on the completion to D. Anderson. Talk about being on the same page.
That's a great job by Burrow. They want to take another shot. They're going deep here on Ryan Pulley. A little bit of a double move by D. Anderson. Doesn't get over the top, so Burrow does a smart thing. Throws a back shoulder. I even love the fact that he didn't try to get too cute with it, right? He didn't try to be too perfect. He said, you know what, I don't care if he stops. He's going to catch the ball. That's how over the top Ryan Pulley was. Great decision. Nice accurate throw by Burrow.
Burrow is 10 of 14 tonight for 154 yards and a 40-yard touchdown pass. Everybody moving early. Cole's got something interesting down there after this call.
On the offense,
Tom, one thing that Jack Marucci, the head trainer for LSU, and Greg Stringfield, the equipment manager, looked into in the offseason was how to help make the game safer and even go further in investigating concussions. You can see the cord sticking out of this helmet. Guys, we've gone digital even inside of these football helmets. So what this does has a sensor deep down inside the helmet underneath the padding. It measures G-force and rotation. So not only does it measure where the helmet's getting hit, but also rotation on the helmet. Also measures where the hits are taking place on the helmet. So a lot of different measurements are taken into account. One thing that they have found over the last few years studying this is that over the week of game preparation in practice, they're taking more hits than they would in an actual game in individual practices. So it's really helped them know when to back off, know if players are ducking their heads and hitting with the wrong parts of their helmets. They have that actual conversation with individual players. Pretty cool stuff when you think about technology and player safety for the LSU training staff and equipment staff.
Jack Marucci's at the forefront of a lot of different stuff, not just making bats, but he's been fantastic and he's been at it a long time. Arkansas comes with pressure and slippage from Brissett. Saw Arkansas slipping on that side of the field early in this game. So there's a look at it. You can see inside the hole and see the glowing light. So you know what would get me in trouble? You know how often I lose my phone charger when I travel? My helmet would never be charged.
Yeah, it only helps if it's actually working.
Yeah.
But pretty cool because you can't stop the problem until you understand it and understand how much practice affects concussions and how much hits players are actually taking. You can start to really understand and help prevent it.
On 3rd and 4, they're going to run it, and Burrow stayed in bounds and got up the sideline to get a few extra yards. Probably 3rd and 14, and about an 8-yard gain that time.
Design quarterback run here. It's just a quarterback power, quarterback lead. Nick Brissett is the lead blocker, and yeah, it looks like he stepped out of bounds. Oh, no, look at that. Doesn't. He even thought he might have.
Burrow ballerina in a former life. 40-yard attempt for Tracy, who leads the SEC in field goal percentage. The transfer from Division II Assumption College. More field goals than anyone else in college football in his career. And he's able to split the uprights again. 3-touchdown lead for LSU. And Tracy, who leads the league in scoring, adds another triple to his name. 24-3 Tigers. Let's take a look at the road to the championship. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Georgia and Alabama on a crash course again. Two of the top scoring offenses in the SEC and two of the best defenses in all of college football, both top 10. Tua Tagovailoa had some issues today. He got a little banged up.
I was going to say, that's the one thing I'm thinking about when you look at that matchup. There were 2 or 3 times he got up really gingerly, like that knee was not good, took a couple unnecessary hits. The health of Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the most important thing that this college football committee is going to have to see, talk about, and this nation is going to be holding their breath.
Only thing gingery is your Moscow Mule. So who's in? Next rankings release occur on Tuesday, and we've talked about LSU having an outside shot. We had a great conversation with our buddy Jacob Hester last night at the LSU team hotel and talking about the opportunity that's in front of LSU. You know, that national championship team in 07 got a ton of help. And they were able to get in after losing to Arkansas in the regular season finale and then beat Tennessee in the SEC championship game as the college football world just kind of exploded around them between the losses for Missouri that day against Oklahoma. West Virginia was in the driver's seat. They lost to Pitt. And so if you apply some of those same parameters to this season, it's not that big of a stretch to think that LSU could play their way back into being among the top 4. Are they going to be number 1? Are they going to knock off Alabama? No, Alabama's going to be there. Clemson's likely going to be there. Story over the middle. That's a first down. But as we said at the beginning, we've seen crazier things happen, and LSU's football life and national championship hopes aren't yet extinguished.
No, they don't control their own destiny by any stretch of the imagination. They need some help, but they're helping themselves tonight because, yes, we expected them to beat Arkansas, but they're fixing things. The protection looks better. The run game much improved. And not just because the opponent is lesser than they've faced, but because they're executing better.
Neil Farrell just introduced himself to Rakeem Boyd. Boyd's going to come out for a moment.
Boy, Farrell just run through that A-gap. Colton Jackson couldn't get there. Yeah, they need Alabama to keep winning. They need Alabama to beat Georgia, and then LSU's got the head-to-head against Georgia. And then
they need Northwestern to win the Big Ten title.
Yeah,
absolutely. Stays on his feet, flicks it towards the sideline, well out of the tackle box, and he saves himself from a sack. Tyler Shelvin, the freshman, seeing additional time with Braden Fehoko out with injury tonight.
Again, Arkansas trying to push the ball downfield. Nothing there. Story unable to get away from pressure. It's been something we've seen all night. Protection, and the routes just have not timed up.
So as of right now, do you think a 2-loss LSU team would get the nod over a 1-loss Washington State team?
Oh boy, a 1-loss Washington State as Pac-12 champions. That's the only thing. I mean, if you trust me, I've been in that committee room, been in those conversations. Winning your conference carries a lot of weight. And I think the traditionalists in that room want that to carry a lot of weight and continue to. So even though Washington State's resume is not even close to LSU's, that 1 loss and the conference champion, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else that would be in that discussion, should the world kind of blow up, would have 4 better wins than Ed Ogeron's team has. You'd need some help from Big 12, from those guys to knock each other off and knock each other around. And Alabama to get in cleanly. Giles, fair catch. Senior Foster Moreau reflects on his journey through LSU's football program and one of his most fun times with his team. This week's Spotlight brought to you by Pilot Flying J.
And they had the boot trophy that we wanted, and all the guys were all talking about the last time we went to Arkansas and how cold it was, and the wind chill was -40 or something. I just remember we got back to the locker room and it was just warm in there. It was just warm in there as opposed to being on the field. And that was one of the most fun times that we've celebrated in the locker room.
I got to tell you, Foster Moreau from last year when we spent time with him, and then the way he handled himself at Media Day this year, quickly became one of my favorite players in all of college football. I don't know what's in his future once he stops playing the game of football, but he's the kind of kid that you think could just choose from anything. Like, I know the governor of LSU is a big LSU football fan. He's a big Ed
He could be a
Orgeron
politician.
fan, but he could be the next.
Remember, we were waiting around practice last year to talk to some guys, and admittedly, he wasn't the highest on our list to talk to, and he just kind of kept sticking around and ended up hanging out with us for 10, 15 minutes, just talking about players and coaches, and, I mean, incredibly bright future ahead of him. He can do anything he wants, but he's a pretty good football player, too.
That would be the governor of Louisiana, not the governor of LSU, and he does wear that number 18, 18th state.
Might as well be the governor of LSU as well, though. You know, come on.
Well, I really appreciated him and his spirited defense of Ed Orgeron after the Georgia game. And I know Ed Orgeron appreciated that as well. You only have to look as far as a coach's players to see how much he is respected in the locker room and within the program.
Coach O is so respected, so well-liked among not only his staff, but the locker room. I agree with you. The defense of his head coach.
Completion to Derek Dillon, just shy of the marker here.
And it was interesting because kind of the criticism, I'm not sure how it was directed, but Foster Moreau's point was, look, we have great coordinators that we pay a lot of money to get good game plans together. The thing that Coach O does that's better than anybody, and what is his main goal, is to get this team ready to play emotionally, physically, and he does it better than anybody. And his guys tonight came out off an emotional low, up 24-3. They've been ready to play since the first whistle.
Coaching his players and his coaches. Left on the clock. Fires. It's batted down. Pauses. Breaks free and punches it in. This is what they're playing for. The boot. It's on the line. And LSU trying to retain it. On a 4th and short, they will punt it away. Zach Von Rosenberg at our Zachary High School in Lake Charles with his 5th punt of the night. And it's taken in a little bit of action after that 37-yard punt. 24-3. LSU in front of Arkansas. You bought electric socks today. How's that working out for you?
One glove on, too. I realized I didn't undo my scarf. Whatever, it's cold. I got a hand warmer in here. It's a little chilly.
You're a disaster right now.
I'm going to say not worth the $50.
Yeah,
No. The electric socks are good thought, but not worth the $50.
You're such a California kid. I hope both you and Cole kept your receipts from the electric socks.
I didn't realize the scarf was still on. I'm in full survival mode right now.
So is Arkansas, and so is Ty Story. And that one is nearly hauled in with a one-handed catch. It's interesting what Chad Morris has in front of him, and Todd Harris needs to stretch out a little bit. They were coming into a situation where Arkansas has really had a tough time over the last few years, and Chad Morris is brought in to change, if nothing else, if not the culture. He's also brought in to change what they're doing offensively, to be more explosive. And that's tough to do without the right personnel. Harris getting looked at, and not a good sign the way he has reacted to going down. We'll take a break, back in a moment. I thought he was cramping. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. Todd Harris Jr. filled in admirably for an injured John Battle last week against Alabama. And now he's out with what looks to be an ankle injury. 36 degrees? Well, that's just balmy.
It's got to be colder than that.
That's what I
don't believe it.
It's fake news. Here's Boyd taken down behind the line of scrimmage. He went down hard, and Rakeem Boyd reaching for his hamstring.
Boy, not good for either of these teams. You mentioned it. John Battle out for LSU. Todd Harris was filling in. Christian Fulton went out earlier in the game. We don't know the extent of his injury. Those are big-time plays for LSU, and nobody bigger for Arkansas than Rakeem Boyd. Oof. His leg got caught under there.
Devin White in on the tackle. Boyd had been such a spark to this Arkansas offense. For the last 4 games, 4 touchdowns, 423 yards. Tonight, he's been held in check, only 30 yards. I love what you were saying earlier for a guy who ended up with 1-year junior college. Coaching staff used this phrase, he has an attitude of gratitude, and something that a lot of guys at these programs just simply take for granted is something that Boyd appreciates. He knows he can just walk upstairs and get a bottle of water.
Yeah.
You know, you can go home with as many Gatorades as you want. You can get your Stinger waffles if you want, or a protein shake.
Let me tell you, that doesn't happen at most junior colleges.
What was the biggest splurge you got at JUCO?
We had New Balance cleats. And that was supposed to be a good thing.
Shout out to our friends at New Balance. You did a fantastic job, despite what Mr. Rogers may say. 3rd and 10. LSU brings 4, but their 4th is a key one. And it's over the middle and complete. LaMichael Petway finally gets tripped up deep in the secondary by Terrence Alexander. It's a gain of 21.
Tell you what, just like that play right before half where we saw Ty Story step up in the pocket and hit a deep dig route, there are flashes where Ty Story looks really good. Had Devin White pressuring him, slid to his left, stepped up in the pocket, and again, a strike on a deep dig route.
Again over the middle. The tight end with the grab. And a late flag after that completion to Grayson Gunner, the sophomore out of Madison, Mississippi.
What do they do there? Attack the middle of the field. No John Battle. Todd Harris just walked out. At secondary, especially in the middle at safety, is a little thin right now for LSU, and Arkansas is exploiting it.
There are 2 fouls on the play. We have illegal substitution against the defense, 12 players. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 11. That penalty will be enforced. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Terrence Alexander trying to bring down O'Grady. Got up there with the left hand. Or pardon me, Gunter, the tight end on the 23-yard catch.
Got to close this drive out now if you're Arkansas. A theme for this program in general, on and off the field, is learning how to finish. Chad Morris reiterates that ad nauseum to this program. Got to finish here.
Here comes Devin White again. Knocked away. Jacoby Stevens defending Jared Cornelius.
All right, guys, here's what you have going on from an injury perspective for LSU. Todd Harris still on the training table, having his ankle examined. He's already had it retaped. Christian Fulton had his ankle examined when he came off just before halftime. Haven't seen him in since halftime. And Kelvin Joseph is nursing a hamstring. At least that's what the trainers are paying attention to over on the sideline for the LSU secondary.
And Cole, it seems like you're chilly.
It's cold. I'm still mad about how much I paid for the batteries to go in these socks.
It's not just the socks, it's the batteries too. Story with a laser, and he fits it in, but no gain. Cheyenne O'Grady.
The socks were $50. Each sock takes 3 batteries. The batteries were $13.99.
For 6 AA batteries.
$65 to have my feet just still be kind of cold. What a ripoff.
Yeah, well,
that's my own fault.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Should have just stuck with the 100% wool that Rhonda at Bass Pro Shops tried to lead me to.
Yeah, shout out to Rhonda, employee of the month at Cabela's. 4-man rush again, and that one is snapped away. You mentioned the kind of delayed blitz, and Cole, I want your input on this too. They're only bringing 4, but that fourth is many times Devin White, who's coming up with a 4-yard head start. You're not sure where he's coming from. What makes that so difficult?
Very rarely will Dave Aranda rush 4 defensive linemen. He'll mix and match his linebackers coming from depth, and you mentioned sort of a trigger blitz. He'll wait to see who stays in to help in protection. Then that blitz comes late. So oftentimes as an offensive lineman, you shift your focus somewhere else because that linebacker looks like he's staying in coverage, and then boom, he comes from that backside gap, and you've shifted your attention the opposite direction.
Yeah, offensive linemen come up, they find the 4 down, find the mic, and then all of a sudden after the snap, they got to figure things out on the fly, and that's when mistakes happen. That's why it's so effective.
Chad Morris rushes in to use a timeout. Arkansas trying to make it a 2-touchdown game.
Arkansas.
They're looking at a 4th down right after this.
Their second charge timeout of the half.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
Well, it's senior night for Tusk, the 4th. He's going to officially retire at the end of this academic year in his 7th year of service. Highlight of his day, Jordan Rogers fed him grapes this morning.
I was a little worried too because I grabbed the grape and I was going to just kind of like open palm, give it to him. The guy's like, no, you got to grab it. And, so I felt like my fingers were in danger. They weren't. I mean, me and Tusk are boys. So.
I was going to say your hand modeling career would go by the wayside with one chomp. 4th down for Arkansas. 4th and 10. Coming out of the timeout. Here comes pressure. Story lets it go. End zone. Jump ball. Caught! Touchdown Razorbacks. A little trash talk from Cheyenne O'Grady after he caught it right over the top of Jacoby Stevens.
4th down, finds your playmaker. Right now, nobody on this offense today is making plays except for Cheyenne O'Grady. 6'4", 250-pound target. You get him matched up one-on-one with the safety, Jacoby Stevens. That's where you want to go. And Ty Story does a great job of throwing up a ball that's 50-50 and letting Grady go get it.
Connor Limpert on for the point after. And Lippert bangs it through. Arkansas down 2 touchdowns, 12:37 to go in this one.
It's great. They line up O'Grady in the slot, have kind of an outside release, ends up being a rub play. That's how he gets position on Stevens, and big man just comes down with it. Great catch.
For O'Grady, his 5th touchdown reception of the season to lead all Arkansas receivers.
And I tell you what, LSU's got to kind of flip that switch again. Everybody on the couch, and us included, it's 24-3. It's just kind of going along. Arkansas less than 100 yards on offense before that drive. That's a 2-score game. LSU's got to get some first downs and keep running the football like they did for the first 3 quarters and try to close this one out.
Edwards-Helaire and Brissett have combined for 108 yards on the ground on 27 carries. LSU had 10 within 10 yards of the kick, and so Edwards-Helaire uses a fair catch to bring it out to the 25. Well, it is SID Appreciation Week in all of college sports. We can't tell you how much these guys and gals help us do our job, and both of them here at these 2 respective schools are among the best. So not only great at their job, but just great guys. Here's Michael Burnett. It's family business for Burnett. His dad was a longtime SID at McNeese State. He's an LSU graduate. And so special thanks to Michael. If you have his cell phone, just give him a text right now. Shoot him a text.
Blow him up.
Yeah, blow him up. do the same with Derek Bonamsky if you want to. He's from Lake Charles in his 18th year as a communications director here and a graduate of LSU. So thank you, Michael, and all of the sports information directors that we deal with on a regular basis. And with all of his travel, certainly also thanks to his wife Robin and his 3 sons Peyton, Grant, and Max. Although Robin has to explain why she named her first son after a certain Tennessee quarterback. Flags come flying in at the tail end.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Great second effort on this run by Nick Brossette. Blown up at first. Bounces it to the outside to pick up the first down. Would have picked it up without the face mask, but that'll help.
Ball at midfield for LSU. Toss to Brissett. No gain. So as LSU tries to run clock, we talk about the impact of that penalty. Field position certainly plays a major role in play calling. They could be more conservative with the ball at midfield or just pass it.
And be more conservative because outside of the last drive, Arkansas hasn't been able to do much on defense. Now you worry about being thin on the back end with some of the injuries here in this game. You're down to your second and third string at a few spots on the back end, but you can continue to use this clock. Second down, another run play or a quick completion, get about half, get to third down, keep the clock moving.
Brissett gets taken down after a gain of 3. Armand Watts there. Senior day for Watts out of Christian Brothers in St. Louis, Missouri. And this is a 3rd and 5. Watts an anchor of that Arkansas defensive line. LSU has really picked it up on their 3rd down conversions, but still overall just 4 of 11 tonight. Pressure coming up the middle. Burrow down the sideline. Incomplete. Hat down, no flag down. Receiver went out of bounds and was the first to touch it. It was D. Anderson against Ryan Pulley, 11 on 11.
I tell you what, I haven't seen a replay, but it looked like they might have missed a little pass interference at the end of this. Does he get a face mask? He does.
My goodness.
Thought I saw that live. That is a big miss on the outside. That should be pass interference as Burrow goes to the back shoulder, as we saw a few drives ago. Him hit a big completion on that. Pulley got away with one.
That is a major miss. Well, to go complete a major comeback, you're going to need to catch some breaks, and Arkansas did just then. 35-yard punt. Ty Story and the Razorbacks looking for a massive comeback tonight. Well, if Arkansas is fresh in the 4th quarter, we can tell you a couple reasons why. Number 1, they're coming off the week off. And number 2, the strength and conditioning staff has been doing body tempering with this squad. This is Cole getting some work done yesterday. Cole, what are we looking at here?
Well, strength coach Tremaine Carroll has met with Donnie Thompson out of South Carolina, and you're looking at these metal rollers that are being made. This one's 120 pounds, and they roll it across your back. You've got lighter ones, as you see over to the left. You can put them on your quads. You can put them on your calves. It just distributes the soreness and gets the muscles back, regenerates those muscles, and helps you recover much more quickly.
Story drops back to his own goal line, chucks one down the middle, and it's picked off! Intercepted by LSU. Another pick for DBU. Kerry Vincent Jr. with the takeaway.
You're not going to see an interception much better than that one right there from a ball skill standpoint. Kerry Vincent with an unbelievable, look at this. Ball thrown way behind. He's going to stab it with his left hand and bring it in. That's impressive, and a big miss by Story. No safety over the top. They're trying to hit the double move. That ball needs to be thrown on top of the logo right there. If that ball is thrown to the middle of the field on top of the logo, Deion Stewart's got a chance to run underneath it. Story put that on the line behind his receiver. You're never going to have a chance on a post route throwing the ball there.
Arkansas comes with pressure from Greenlaw. They go the opposite way with Clyde Edwards-Helaire to pick up a 2. What a job by Ed Orgeron's team and Dave Aranda's unit on the defensive side of the ball. Great visit with the LSU coaching staff yesterday. We asked Dave Aranda what he would be doing if he wasn't coaching, and the answer just surprised none of us. He said, I'd be a professor. Yeah, philosophy major in high school. Had an opportunity to go to a number of different divinity schools. He said, but I couldn't turn down the rush of football. Burrow, pressure, eludes it, and lets it go to the sideline, complete for an LSU first down. Justin Jefferson on a gain of 13. There's Dave Aranda. He was on the Texas Tech staff right when Mike Leach first got there. He was a graduate assistant, and he said, I got used early on to kind of, I don't know, I guess being an outsider, not being normal, because that was not a normal staff.
Not at all.
I mean, you got the pirate lover heading it, and then you had all these head coaches who had all these different designs on offense. And what an incredible incubator that must have been when you're sitting in meeting rooms with Art Briles and Dana Holgorsen and Ruffin McNeil, and your scout team quarterback is Sonny Cumbie, and the starting quarterback is Cliff Kingsbury, and there's coach upon coach upon coach in that room.
What a melting pot of philosophies. I mean, you oftentimes see coaching staffs just kind of send branches out, and all those people that were together at one point were successful. You see it in the Saban tree, you see it at LSU back in the day. These coaches that are at a kind of the forefront of something new ideas end up spreading and being successful coaches wherever they go. Pretty interesting, that mix of coaches though,
especially if you're going to be a guy on the defensive side. Burrow off the hands of his tight end to Corey Washington. Take another peek at another takeaway for LSU.
Look at this. They're going to work the post here at the bottom of your screen. Safety Jacoby Stevens is flat, and that ball needs to be thrown out here. If that ball is thrown in that window there, towards the middle of the field, maybe towards the opposite hash, that ball could be completed. Instead, it's not even thrown inside the near hash. That ball has got to be to the middle of the field on a post. That's what you're taught. That's a big play that Arkansas missed, and a heck of a play by Vincent on the outside to bring that one down.
3rd down, 11. Burrow taken off straight up the middle, and he gets tripped up by Dre Greenlaw. And LSU's going to be 1.5 yards short. We're going to leave the offense on the field. 4th.
Yeah, go tempo. Catch him off guard.
They've run zone read off of this. They've run a quick handoff off of it.
Going to go zone read again.
Burrow gives it up, and Arkansas stops him and turns him over on downs with 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. The Razorbacks get a monster stop. Now, you could second guess that play call. You got Cole Tracy as your kicker, who's already hit a 54-yarder this season. And you could have perhaps punted to try and pin him deeper.
You're kind of in that no man's land, though. It's a little bit longer of a field goal. It's still in that range that Coach Ed Orgeron said he's comfortable with, but the way they've been running the football, I don't blame him for that. I really don't. I mean, the defense you have you can trust. And it's still 2 scores. If it's a 1-score game, it's a different conversation. They do go zone read here. Honestly, another one Burrow could have thought about pulling. It's kind of in between there. But a good job by Arkansas being stout up front and stopping them on 4th and 1.
So Chad Morris's team has an opportunity now. They'll roll the pocket. Story delivers on time and on target. Pickup of 8 on 1st down to Deion Stewart.
Arkansas's got to start picking up the pace here. Good, easy completion to start the drive. Great job dragging his feet there. Deion Stewart, that'd have been good in the NFL. Still don't know why college isn't 2 feet. Makes no sense.
They like to be different than that other game. LSU drops 8 on 2nd and 1. And still, Derek Cornelius gets open over the middle. 19-yard strike.
Boy, what a confident throw there by Ty Story. Works the right side of the field, comes back to the middle. Watch his eyes. Works far right, quickly comes back to the middle. If he waits any longer, doesn't pull the trigger, back to the middle late is never good, but how quickly he came off that and then let the ball rip. Good read, good throw.
Extra playing time for Jacoby Stevens at safety tonight. They go his direction. It is batted down, trying to get it to O'Grady. Todd Harris Jr. left with injury. Christian Fulton left with injury.
And now Jacoby gets a chance to talk a little trash there. We saw that matchup where C.J. O'Grady came down with it in the end zone for the touchdown. Now Jacoby's like, yeah, okay, all right, I'll get you back.
Kerry Vincent Jr. seeing more time tonight. He's got a pick. LSU's played a lot of nickel tonight against Arkansas. And they stay in it here. Pressure coming from the edge. Story incomplete. And another injury. We've got a flag after the play. Came in real late after Cheyenne O'Grady was already down.
Yeah, O'Grady's been running his mouth a little bit, and Kerry Vincent just stood over him and stared at him there. You do that, they're probably going to throw a flag. That's taunting. They don't want to see that. You can do it for a second. You can talk a little trash, but you stand over a guy while he's down like that.
Ty Story has attempted 36 passes tonight. He's targeted O'Grady 13 times.
Jeez.
But he only has 5 completions.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense number 5. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down. That is number 5's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
And so Arkansas will be gifted another 15.
These are the things you got to clean up if you're LSU. If you're Ed Orgeron, you have to preach to your team not only how important it is to finish this season with the chances they still have in front of them, as we discussed earlier. You got to learn to close out games. You got to learn to have an increased focus and awareness in the 4th quarter. It's a 2-score game. If you stop them right there, momentum's gone from Arkansas. They're having a tough time.
Whoa, Story blown up. That ball is tipped and incomplete. Vincent had a chance at it. And once again, Ty Story stood tall in the face of pressure from Jacob Phillips.
That's the thing. They're hitting home when they want to. They're breaking up balls. They've been stout on defense all day. You can't have mental errors, get personal fouls, and give Arkansas yardage when you can do this.
One of those delayed blitzes that you mentioned earlier, Tom, right there for LSU.
Yeah, Jacob Phillips, formerly the #1 linebacker recruit in the country, a true sophomore. He's a heck of a player. He's also one of the highest rated linebackers in coverage in the nation. Not only are their DBs good, but their linebackers can cover as well.
Pressure coming. Story heaves it. Caught. O'Grady inside the 10. Backs his way down and gets over the goal line for an Arkansas score. And we've got a flag down at the goal line.
Little misdirection. They start O'Grady on one side of the ball. Runs a drag and kind of a wheel, turns upfield. Same play they ran against Alabama for a big gain as well. This time ends up being a touchdown. Boy, here we go. It's a ball game now.
What an effort by Cheyenne O'Grady. Two touchdowns for O'Grady.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense number 85. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
The talk continues between O'Grady and the LSU secondary. O'Grady 2 touchdowns tonight. He had 2 against Alabama. And suddenly it is a 7-point game at Razorback Stadium. Ty Story to Cheyenne O'Grady. They've hooked up twice tonight. And they've got Arkansas on the brink of a major comeback in Fayetteville. LSU has allowed Arkansas to stick around. The Tigers went for it on 4th down, didn't get it, and Arkansas took advantage to make this a 1-touchdown game. 24-17.
That's where you start going armchair quarterback, right? I like the call the first time around. 4th and 1, you've been able to run the football. Don't get it, give up a touchdown. Now it looks like the wrong move.
After the unsportsmanlike penalty, LSU will have great field position. And it's going to be even better thanks to Clyde Edwards-Helaire with that strong return. Connor Limpert caught a little leg from Edwards-Helaire at the end of that one.
Really no change for LSU. You're Steve Ensminger, you're thinking, okay, let's get back to running the football, play action pass. I mean, Burrow's been so efficient, 13 of 19, 175 yards and a touchdown tonight. He's been so efficient in the shot game. If it's not there, he's throwing the back shoulder effectively. So everything's still on the table. No change in game plan for LSU.
From their 41-yard line, Nick Brissett trying to stretch it. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2. Now Arkansas trying to find some momentum here late in the game. Steve Ensminger, second stint on this staff, hadn't been a full-time coordinator in 2 decades. Chad Morris's team trying to get the ball back.
Not only is that a loss, out of bounds. Now your 2nd long.
Burrow fires to the edge, finds his tight end Torrey Carter, and Carter's brought down after a 6. LSU just 4 of 13 on 3rd down tonight.
They take the fullback Torrey Carter out of the game, bring another receiver in.
Blitz coming. Burrow fires, caught, 1st down LSU. Derek Dillon takes it for 13.
And again, under pressure, Arkansas brings some heat. Linebacker blitz. Joe Burrow stands in there, calm, collected, and delivers a strike on a short angle route by Derek Dillon on the outside. Great call. 3rd down. You get out in a bunch set. Dillon releases wide, cuts it back towards the middle of the field. Great call against man coverage, and an even better job by Burrow staying calm under pressure once again.
Arkansas only has 1 timeout remaining. Razorbacks had to use a pair of timeouts on 4th down plays. Brissett to the outside. Just to the line of scrimmage. Timeout taken by Arkansas here. 3:14 to go.
Timeout, Arkansas. That is their final charge timeout of the half.
So here's the conundrum.
30-second timeout.
It's 2nd and 10. LSU wants to run the clock. The ground game has been effective. Where do you go from a play calling standpoint?
Well, right now, Arkansas is doing a great job in the front 4. As you see on this last play, Nick Brissett's got to hit that hole. You see that there's a little, I mean, there's not much there because Arkansas is playing well on the interior, but you got to get north and south. We saw him run sideline to sideline for a loss early in the drive. You got to get north and south. So if I'm Ensminger right now, I want to try to get Joe Burrow on the move, outside the pocket. Do some misdirection, get him outside the pocket, give him a 2-way option, because right now Arkansas has a little momentum. That defensive line's got a little confidence, and those runs on this drive aren't working like they have for the first 3.5 quarters.
Arkansas is also out of timeouts. I'm bleeding the clock here, Tom.
Burrow keeps it, finds the edge, has a first down, and LSU has a first down with Arkansas out of timeouts with 3:06 to go.
And that's a great play call. The reason I said get Burrow outside the pocket, because if it's not there, he'd have a chance to use his legs like he does so well. Then why not just dial up number 9's number? Little misdirection. Foster Moreau, the tight end, came from one side with a great lead block from the left side to the right. And Burrow's a good athlete. He can run with the football. He's not your true dual threat guy, but he can make you miss and he can get north and south. That's a big play for LSU now with under 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and that clock is rolling.
Nick Brissett gobbled up after a gain of 2. Even if they don't pick up another first down, Arkansas is going to have to go, at least 80 yards without a timeout. They went for, you get a field goal, you're up 10. Yeah.
Field goal in this thing is effectively over. If you're Arkansas, you got to try to hold the running back up. You got to go for the ball. Well, if I'm an LSU running back, you got to have 2 hands on that ball at all times. Get yards, hold onto the ball, kick a field goal if you have to, and get out of here.
Brissett, forget about the field goal. He's staying down to run the clock instead of taking the 7, which would have ended the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of situations that I like the savviness of going down, but I don't think that's one. I walk into the end zone there, go up 2 scores. Now LSU will be able to take a knee and end this one, so no harm, no foul either way. It's a smart heads-up play by a college kid, but I've seen it a few times in the NFL the past few weeks. Players going down to a knee like that.
So if you had Brissett on your fantasy team, just like
I'd
Tom
be mad.
Brady, you'd be upset. He'll get it for you here.
He
goes down just shy of the line.
He does not want to score.
There's some folks very
what was the line on this game?
13.5, I'm told.
Oh, boy. Wow. I mean, look at Burrow right now signaling to the sideline. Touchdown or no? Are you saying, are we sneaking or are we going to take it? What are we doing here? Because they're not going to take a knee here. You're going to give Brissett another chance.
A knee ends it, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Playing with fire, perhaps. Brissett.
And now that he's trying to get in, he won't. Of course.
An unbelievable sequence late with the game in hand. Nick Brissett twice, goes down short of the goal line. The end result is all that matters for LSU. They improved to 8-2 on the season. Arkansas made a game of it late. With this point of credit to Chad Morris and his Arkansas team. They've had a tough schedule this season. They've had a tough year, but they've never stopped, and tonight was a great example.
That was a great example of a coach with a program in transition, learning, growing, and trying to figure out how to finish. Because that team could have easily rolled over. The way this season has been going, they could have rolled over at 24-3, but they continue to fight back. Credit to LSU for closing it out, but a lot to build upon for Arkansas as well.
Let's hear what Ed Ogeron has to say. He's standing by with Cole.
Coach, your thoughts on how your team fought through the end of that game?
Good team win. You know, we won it at the end of the game. Give Arkansas credit. It was a tough battle. We won the game. We focused on winning the game. We're going home with a win.
Felt like a lot of that game. I watched almost 60 minutes of LSU football. You ran the ball well. You played good defense. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, we played good defense. We held them to maybe 30 yards rushing. I thought our offensive line blocked good at the end of the fourth quarter. We held the ball in the fourth quarter like we need to. Good team win.
I just have to ask your thoughts of not scoring the touchdown at the end of the game.
Say it again?
Your thoughts on Brissett not scoring the touchdown at the end of the game.
Yeah, you know, we just run the clock out, you know, and we'll try to score the touchdown, but run the play out at the end and take a knee.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
Ed Ogeron remains undefeated following a loss, now 8-0 at LSU in that situation. It's never easy when you're coming off of a loss in a game that you had invested so much in, but LSU didn't let this one be a downer after the shutout to Alabama.
Not at all, and I even asked Coach O, when are you going to know if Bama is having an effect on you now 2 weeks in a row? He said the end of the first quarter. He would be able to tell if his guys were able to leave that in the past. I think we saw them jump out to a 24-3 lead. They ran the football. They fixed things on offense. They were thin in the secondary, and they still played pretty stingy and pretty well down the stretch.
With a strong finish of the season, LSU will be playing in a New Year's Six bowl game. With a strong finish and some help from others, they could be in the college football playoff. Joe Burrow is their quarterback. He's with Cole.
Joe, big conversion that you picked up there late with your legs. Did you want to run the football there?
Absolutely. I think when the game's in the hanging in the balance, give me the ball, make it happen. But we got to get some things fixed, but it was a good win.
When the run game overall is going the way it was tonight, what does that do for you as a quarterback?
It really opens up the play-action pass game and opens up some shots down the field. We had some guys make some plays, but we're gonna have, like I said, we're going to have to get some things fixed after this one. After last week and then after the way this game went, you guys battle back, stay strong late. What does that prove to the rest of the country about your football team? You know, we're a tough team. We work hard every week. We're never going to give up, but it was a good win. Thank you very much. Thanks. Tom?
This is a big win for LSU because their goals are very much in front of them. They hold on to the boot. We know that thing's not light, 175 pounds to hoist that one. What did you see from LSU overall tonight?
Well, I think it was offense. I wanted to see this offense respond. And we mentioned they played Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Alabama in 4 weeks. So we didn't see a whole lot of offense. And I didn't see a whole lot of offense out of Joe Burrow in that stretch against good defenses. And that's kind of understandable. But I wanted to see this offense respond. I wanted to see them make corrections from the film against Alabama. They did that in protection. They weren't perfect, but they did it. They were better, and they were explosive throwing the football. Forget that they were running the football well. I don't mean forget it, but it was amazing. Yeah. But they did some things throwing the football that I haven't seen them have that type of balance and explosiveness. And if you're projecting to a New Year's Six bowl or an outside shot at a college football playoff, you got to be able to do both on offense. I think they showed that.
And you got to be able to shut down the run. Ed Ogeron was just slightly off with his stat a moment ago with Cole. They held Arkansas to 16 yards rushing tonight.
That's good.
It's really good.
That's good.
They know what it's like. They were held to just 12 last week. So LSU's ground game was working with a couple of different guys. How much fun would it be in this college football season where it seems like everything's decided to have anarchy in the last 3 weeks? To put LSU or any team in their shoes in position to be among the top four.
Isn't that what we love about college sports? That's why we love college basketball and the tournament, because of chaos. I would love to see it. LSU's proven they're still a really good football team. They have an unbelievable resume. They're going to get a shot. We'll see.
Arkansas scored 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter, but LSU was able to salt it away. Our final score, 24-17, Tigers with the win. That's going to do it from us. Here in Fayetteville, let's get you back to the studio with Dari and the gang.